I had Eric Goldstein from NRDC, who was actually on Governor Cuomo's panel that informed to discuss the issue of hydrofracking. Deborah Goldberg from Earth Justice and former DEP. Oh, really? Okay. And former DEP Commissioner Al Appleton, who is an international expert on water and land use, and he's actually the architect of the protection of the watershed for New York City. So he has a personal investment in ensuring that fracking does not happen, because he's aware of the dangers of all of the byproducts of fracking to our environment, our health, our land, our animals, everybody. So hydrofracking is easily one of the most, if not the most important environmental issue of our day. And deciding whether or not to allow this practice to take place in New York has the potential to determine the future safety of our drinking water, the health of families, and the environment. That's why it's so disappointing that it seems that the Cuomo administration wants to rush this through. As I think Danny mentioned, the SDGIS is 1,000 pages, and it's very technical, and it's a lot to absorb for a lay person. Even a science person says it's a lot to study. And there are a lot of things that it omits, which sometimes cynical people say that these studies, the end is written first, and then you make up the stuff so that you can justify it. I don't know if I go that far on this, but I do know that it presents it more as an economic opportunity rather than listing a lot of the health effects and the downside of fracking. But we did pass a bill in the Assembly that would postpone granting any permits for fracking until June 2012. And we passed it, and the Senate didn't even take it up. So unfortunately, if the process goes through the way it's envisioned by the State Department of Environmental Conservation, permits could be granted before the EPA study comes out, which is supposed to be around June 2012. The people in Pennsylvania have already made the decision to allow natural gas drilling, and many of them feel that they wish they could do it all over again. There's a town called Dimock, Pennsylvania. It's a town of 1,400 people in Appalachia, and the horrible effects of hydrofracking are easy to spot there. The hills are scarred by barren, square-shaped clearings. There are new jagged-edged roads that have been installed to help accommodate the increased diesel truck traffic that hauls toxic waste from the fracking site. The workers there all wear hazmat suits. So there's no clear evidence that link fracking to water contamination. I guess similar to them saying that 9/11 is not an exact direct cause of cancer. But prior to all the fracking, the people in Dimock had clean, drinkable water. Now their water has turned brown. It makes them sick. It spontaneously combusts. If any of you have seen the film Gasland, where someone lights a match to the tap and water, becomes a flame because of the high levels of methane. And in some places, people have reported that their pets have begun to lose hair. Now this is, there's no direct link, but it seems to me that it's not a coincidence. And increased pollution from all the diesel truck traffic is certainly a hazard, whether it's related to fracking or not. The truck and traffic and pollution are certainly terrible things. But proponents of fracking argue that permitting drilling in the state will create jobs, be an economic boom, which is in reality a tough one given high unemployment and the prolonged recession that has hit the entire country. So you can understand why they may want to ignore the evidence and the experience of other states and places that have seen the results of fracking because they are so desperate for jobs. But economic arguments don't consider the fact that fracking leases may have serious detrimental impacts on home values and homeowners' ability to sell or refinance their property, which is a huge issue given the already fragile state of the housing market in upstate New York. And in the New York Times has been focusing on this, and lots of other areas. They say that people rue the day that they signed over leases for their property because of the toxicity involved in the chemicals, the radioactivity that is below ground. I mean, some of it is just in the ground. Their property will be worth nothing. They will never be able to resell it because the drilling was done there. And also, the oil and gas companies gypped them. They didn't pay them what they really should have because the people didn't know that much. They saw, oh, I'll get an okay price. They didn't realize that the gas industry expects to reap millions upon millions of dollars from fracking. And that's not what they promised the people who signed over the use of their land. Much, much less than that.